Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of My Favorite Trip to the Movies, the series where, right now, movie going is definitely not as how it used to be, but that'll just be a fun way to reminisce about the movie going experience. And huge shout out to all the healthcare workers right now, just getting us through this difficult time, sincerely. Um, so the series is just a way to so we can kind of hold this over until the theater experience is back. And I know some places in the world it's open, but not in Chicago land area and not in the California area where our guest Jordan Criss is coming from, right from a rooftop in California.
Yep.
Jordan is a super talented musician, screenwriter. His screenplay Lions was featured at the Greater Film Festival this past June. It's super cool. He's also a frequent guest on the podcast Feeding Curiosity, which we'll definitely link below as well. Super awesome podcast with our good friend Eric Wenzel.
hmm
Jordan, how's it going today?
Good, man. It's a great day. As you can see, it's sunny outside. Perfect weather. But no, it's good. Merry Christmas to everyone watching. But yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for that lovely intro.
Hey, of course, Jordan. Thank you. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. To everybody watching this, we're recording this the day after. So, Jordan, what has been your favorite movie theater experience, or a few of them?
Right. Yeah. So I actually have two that I always think of. So the first one was when Joker came out, and I know everyone kind of remembers the hype around that movie. So we went to go see it the day after opening night. Me and a couple of my friends, and we heard it's crazy, but and like you assumed it was gonna be that, but still didn't really know what to expect. So we get to the theater and it's crowded. Like we had to like sit like the sixth row, so we're looking up, like straight up, But we're like, whatever, we just want to see it. We don't really care. So we're we're watching it, and I guess I won't spoil it. I figure most people would have seen it by now, but just in case, I won't spoil anything. But towards the climax, when things really start ramping up, um, I look off like towards the entrance, and in walks the security guard. Because they had like highest, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you saw it, but they had like high security at the theaters because of what happened it was in Colorado for the Dark Knight, I think it was like years prior. So they were precautionary, but I forgot that was happening. So I'm in there and I'm like, wait, why is there a security guard in here? And then as like the movie's climax is, ramping up and things are getting hectic, and I'm like really uncomfortable, like right now, like super uncomfortable, and I just will never forget that feeling. It was like truly immersed, truly immersed into the movie. So yeah, so that was the that's probably number one. I don't know if I'd say it's my absolute favorite, but it's one I'll never forget. Like it left an impression that I'll never forget. And then my second one was in 2019, like Oscar movies, you know what I mean? They had like Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, all great movies. So this was the first year I actually made a point to go see every single one of them in theaters. So it was awesome. I don't know if you did the same or something similar, but yeah, it was cool. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this every year. Granted, not this year, but moving forward. So when we went to go see Little Women, there wasn't that many people, but it had already been out for probably a couple months, something like that. And I realized I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm the only guy in here. And it was all like elder women. And so we're sit down and they're all like, oh, it's so lovely that you came to watch this movie. It just like helped the experience and like kind of shows how representation is important and like films are for everyone. So I thought that was just a really cool experience to have. But yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, though I like how both are too memorable in their own in different ways. That's so
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, Joker. I totally, yeah. I remember I saw that with our good friend Nick Wenzel, and
Okay.
I remember like we were waiting for the showtime. Everyone was just walking out, and it was just so like somber and just like
Yeah.
everyone was just like, yeah, hectic is a very good word to describe that movie. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's one uncomfortable. Yeah, I could. Everyone was kind of just uncomfortable in that movie too when we were seeing it. So yeah, that's like, hey, that's like, and the Little Women too. Like that experience. I'm so glad you brought up that movie. And I love that you did that too. I did that exact thing. It
Oh,
kind
you
of
did?
January, December, like go try to go to one at least like once a week or just whatever's playing. And
Right.
yeah, see, that's an experience. Like if you would have watched it at home by yourself, like that totally like I think you wouldn't have had that special of an experience. Like you got to see that, like you said.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we'll get into it, but that's what I love about theaters, just having that extra added layer to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely gonna get to that because that's a much more important question than this next question. But just for fun, favorite movie theater concession item?
Good one. I think, I think a lot of people would say popcorn. I think that's a popular one, but I'll go with like the slushies, the ices. I don't think
Yes.
I've ever seen a movie and not had a slushie. Like,
It's one of those
it's
things like you
perfect.
have to have one. Like
Right.
yeah. Are you blue raspberry, cherry, Coca-Cola?
I'm a
Any
mix. I mix all. I just hit like all of them and I just fill it up. Just get all of them in there. You know, get
yes.
the mixed flavor.
And it's all delicious. You got to do
Right.
it. And it's like the
Right.
cups like this big. You got
Yeah, it's like bigger than my head. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the only time it's acceptable, really.
exactly like if you had that at home, it just wouldn't. You got to have it at the movie theater.
Right. Exactly.
Now, kind of going off of what you were saying, kind of towards the end of our last question. So, what do you? Oh, and really quick before we get into that, there's an awesome podcast that Jordan was on in May 2020 of the Feeding Curiosity, and I do remember from the time, and I re-looked it up again to kind of re-familiarize myself. But it was with Eric, and it was about screenwriting, film, and growth. And
Mm.
I was looking through the transcript, and there was literally like a segment on there on movie theaters and the importance of them, and I was just like,
Right.
yes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you think is the importance of when it's safe again to kind of experience art movies in a like a group audience setting?
Yeah. I honestly think that's the best way to experience a film. Um, there's nothing like it. Like the only thing I can compare it to would be like actually going to a theater and seeing a play, like a live play. But even that's different. It has its differences. Um, but it's important because like I was saying with seeing Joker and seeing Little Women, it added another layer to the film that like enhanced the whole experience. I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching a movie at home, but you won't get that. Like you're comfortable at home, so you won't get that added level of uncomfortability watching a Joker when like seeing a security guard come in and like you can feel the tension of the climax and like you just it just added that layer. And I feel like you can't get that outside of a theater. It's just as a writer myself, like when I'm writing a feature, I want it like the way I picture it being shown to people is in a theater, not at home. It's just like the total immersion you get from going scene to scene, and as it ramps up, and you can feel the people around you like experiencing the same thing, and you're sharing that moment together. I don't know if there's like nothing like it, really.
Oh, you like just perfectly encapsulated that, and I miss it so much too.
Yeah.
Like you said, with the like just the tension in Joker, that would add so much to the movie, and like what you said about, I mean, that's so I still think it's so awesome. You're like screenwriting in California. That's like the coolest thing ever.
Love it.
But like you said, and also like a film you brought up was and then that podcast was 1917,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh
like
yeah.
and Sam Mendes, I can't imagine he wanted people watching that on their home TV. He wanted that on the biggest screen possible.
Yeah, exactly. And for everyone who's seen it, you'll understand that because it was just great. And it reminds me a little bit of Avatar, James Cameron, when he released Avatar. I didn't get a chance to see that in theaters, but I wish I had because I'm like, I feel like it's not the same. Like it's you're not seeing it as it's meant to be seen. Yeah, it just adds a whole nother dimension to it. You know.
Absolutely, Avatar is a great one. Yeah, that one. I'm with you on that one. I did not get a
Yeah.
chance to see that either. I saw it on my
Oh,
basement
right.
TV, and I'm just like, oh, imagine like that, like on the, oh my gosh.
Right.
Hey,
Insane.
hey, Avatar 2, that'll be our chance whenever
Yeah,
that
we
comes
got to see
out.
that. Right.
Yeah.
I'll fly back and we'll go see that one.
Yes, confirmed on this podcast. Our Zoom interview. And there was another thing you brought up in that interview that like on the podcast that I really really agreed with, and I don't remember it quote for quote, but I'd read it and it was something along the lines of like, because you do have the option to pause it, because you do have the option to like check your phone, you're not going to be as immersed into that movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we've all experienced with Netflix and everything, and it's important in its own right. Like I'm not just saying this is there doesn't mean that this is any less.
Mhm.
But I mean, like I don't know if you've ever experienced you're watching something like, oh, hold on, pause it real quick. I'm getting a call, and you can take your call. That removes you from the movie, and then you come back and you're like, okay, wait, what happened? Okay, rewind it. Like you have all this control, so you don't need to be completely immersed in it because you have the luxury of rewinding it, pausing it. Oh, we'll watch it tomorrow. And you're in a theater, you can't. You're watching it, so like you can't. You know what I mean? It's like going to the bathroom before because you don't want to. You don't want to miss an important part. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it just adds to that, and it's. I think that's what's important. It's kind of like being present almost, like being in the moment. It's like you have to be here in the moment or you're going to miss something and you can't get it back unless you pay for another ticket to rewatch the whole thing.
Exactly. I love that. I love the whole, like, you can't pause it. You can't, like you said, it adds so much and you can't yeah, that was just so well said. And I almost like wish, cause I watched Wonder Woman 1984 yesterday.
Oh, right.
And like I almost like didn't like I paused it, but I was like I had to go to the bathroom. I was like I kind of want to just leave it going to make it more to keep me in that moment.
Right, make it seem like you're in the theater, right? Have all the lights turned off and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully hopefully we're back there again sooner than later.
Yeah, man. Counting the days.
What was the last movie you saw in the theater before the everything got shut down?
That is a good question. That would have been it might have been Little Woman. No, it was The Invisible Man. That was the last one I saw. And I feel like that's like horror movies, see those in theaters. Because when you feel everyone afraid next to you, it just like makes you more scared. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's such a good one. That was the same one as me. Same last one I saw too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that was yeah, man, I can't wait to go back. I want to see Tenet. I don't know if you had the chance to see that yet, Christopher Nolan's movie, but I want to be able to see that in theaters. I don't want to watch it at home for the first time.
I think that one's a big screen one too, for sure.
Yeah.
That's Tenet. I hope you get a chance to see that soon too. But yeah, Invisible Man, that one, like so atmospheric. Like you're just like looking in the background, like where. Oh my gosh, it was
intense. Like when it started picking up, I was like, okay, this is crazy. But yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Jordan, thank you so much again for being on the show. This was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything coming up that we should know about? Any well words for the viewers?
Nothing to promote just yet. As far as stuff I'm working on, stuff I gotta keep, a little quiet for now. But pretty soon we'll have some stuff. But yeah, just keep watching shows. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Just keep promoting the industry because eventually it'll be back. And as a consumer base, you got to show them that there's still a desire for it, which it is. So just keep watching shows and good movies and everything.
Exactly. It's no better time to be doing that right now.
Exactly.
All right, Jordan. Thank you so much again for being on the show again, and have a great night, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you, Joey. You guys have a good one.